Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.
Middlesbrough have stood down Rob Edwards from taking today's home game against Birmingham amidst interest from Wolves.
Middlesbrough have taken the lead. Henry shot, and here's the ball erupts. Oh, Middlesbrough take the lead.
Now then, it's me. No Mark tonight, as usual, but she is back by popular demand on the wheels of steel behind the camera. It's Courtney. Out there on the left, the man in black, but he's in blue this week. It's our roving referee reporter on all things refereeing. It's Cole Ward.
Hi, mate.
And our special guest tonight is there in the green. It's Josh Moore.
Sticky bag, Josh.
Yeah. Most commonly known by a lot of people on Teesside travel coaches as Sicky Bag Josh. Only happened the once. And you'll never ever forget it. As you can see, there's no yaff in the gaff tonight, so you've got me talking bullocks for the next hour. Gents, good evening.
Evening.
Loads to talk about. 2 games, transfer rumours, and a load more that Mark's made sure to write down for me for the first time ever, because he knew I would come unprepared as usual. Social media, guys, you are the reason we do this, so please like it, share it, follow it if you aren't. We're also on YouTube now with all of our previous shows being uploaded after, so you can watch it back whenever you want if you're not there on that there Facebook. We're going to start with Stoke, gents. Stoke 1, Boro 2. Didn't start well. I think the first 45 minutes were quite shambolic, if I'm honest, Josh. You saw the game. First half, what did you think was happening?
It didn't look like the same team that we basically put out against Southampton. We looked very sloppy, a lot of loose balls going. Ever since I've seen him play, I've always rated Melander's passing. I didn't rate it one bit in the first half against Stoke, to be honest with you. I thought a lot of passes he was giving away. And in a lot of respect to him, though, there is some people that have also said, certain people should have been in the positions, but as a defender, your key is getting that ball up the pitch. So to be playing the little passes and not realising the threat, it was a bit worrying, but I mean, we still got the result.
Yeah, Cole, we started really slow. The passing was really sluggish, like Josh has just said. We didn't start the game, I don't think it's fair to say, with the intensity that we knew we should be starting games against teams like Stoke, who for, say, 70% of this season have been up there in and around, and at one point right behind us early on in the season. Were you concerned watching the first half that there was a second half still to come?
No, I wasn't, to be honest with you. And the reason I wasn't is because I thought that was as poor a performance under Hellberg for the first 45 minutes. And I thought, well, let's see what he's made of. And whatever he said to him at half time. No, I thought, well, look, it can't be any worse. They've got to come out and play better second half. And they did. And to be fair, I thought it was comfortable in the end.
I mean, we go down 1-0 in the 15th minute to a Rigo strike. I don't want to lay the blame on the goalkeeper, because I'm a firm believer that in front of the goalkeeper there's 10 other players that should be doing a job. The ball dips, it spins, it bounces, it gets past him. It's not the first, I don't want to say mistake, but in the last couple of games there's been times where we've conceded where I think the majority of fans have thought should have done better there.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of that one. Maybe he should have been closed down, but it's a decent strike. But Bryn would say he'd expect to save that.
Yeah, because Josh, it wasn't like he rounded 4 or 5 players and shot from point blank. He took a shot from a
He's got a good view of it as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, not just that. Obviously, you could also see his frustration. As soon as he realised that ball was in the back of the net, jumped straight back on his feet and he just launched the ball up the field. I mean, we've seen the same against Bristol City when, you know, the ball crept underneath him. He might have like waved his arms at his defenders saying close him down quickly, this and the other, but you know, any keeper, whether what level you're playing, is going to be devastated that ball has gone past them the way that it did.
I think it's nice that, I mean, you've made the point there. He gets up and he boots the ball up the field in frustration, and it is nice to see that conceding that goal has affected him. But surely Boro fans don't want to see us make that mistake in the first place, Col.
Yeah, you don't. But when you're saying it affected him at the time, but it didn't affect him afterwards.
No, certainly not.
Because I'll go back to the ginger kiddie they used to, what's his... Glover.
Tom Glover, yeah.
When he made a mistake, you just knew there was a second one coming because he hadn't learned from it. But with Bryn, I think he deals with it much better.
There's a commitment to being
right.
better.
I'm not going to do that because look what happened last time. And if in doubt.
I agree with that. I think when you see Bryn make a mistake like he did, there's almost an instantaneous need for him to deal with that there and then pull off a superb save, which he does, tips it on at the crossbar later on in the game. But that's not until, you know, second half we come out, it's like a different team. Brown scores in the 48th minute, assisted by Whittaker. Conway then scores in the 59th minute, assisted by Brown.
Great ball from Brown.
Second half compared to the first half, what the hell did Kim Hellberg say at half time to get that sort of reaction, Josh?
Kim Hellberg to me comes across as not the type of player that's going to sit there and scream in your face. He comes across like he's going to talk to you calmly and just say, look, we know we're not at our best. We know what our potential is. So let's go out there and show it to the fans that have travelled down on the Wednesday night. And for me, the second half, as soon as I seen the substitutions, I was like, maybe he's going out for it. We'll posing that attacking threat, and then obviously, as you say, the Brown goal, it could have been any of them. It could have been Whittaker's. It could have been, I think it was, I forget who was just behind Whittaker at the time.
But there was enough players in and around for anybody to get it. And it was a great shot, Col. He just swings a leg and smashes it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, we've seen others miss from very similar positions.
Not to mention Conway a few times this season.
You don't expect Brown to be in that finish, but that's the part of his game that's impressed me. He's very clever footballer, I think, Alan Brown.
Do you know when he first came to the club, I was very. He sort of looked. He was here getting a wage, and he was interested. Don't get me wrong, but it was for me when I first saw him play. It was like he was going to breeze through it, do his loan, go back, see what happens. But over the last few weeks, what a player! Yeah, he did. Mark, to be fair, rated him from day one. But I think over the last few weeks, I'm seeing more and more what a quality player Alan Brown really is.
100%.
Really is good. Boro had 59.5% possession. We had 16 shots. Now, up until a couple of weeks ago, not only were we struggling to shoot and find somebody in the box to have a shot, goals were non-existent. I mean, we scored goals against West Brom prior to that. We've then gone 1-0 down against Stoke, come back and won 2-1. Now, what the press are saying is that Middlesbrough come back from 1-0 down to win 2-1 against an injury-hit Stoke. Is that a fair assessment from the media, considering 90% of our defensive line for the last however many months have been out injured?
You can only beat what's in front of you. It's as simple as that. It's 11v11. You can only beat what's in front of you. How many times do we see teams with players missing and you think, oh, they'll get battered today? Well, it doesn't happen. Don't forget the ones who aren't regulars have got a point to prove. they want to be on the team sheet for the next game. So I just think that's a nonsensical argument, mate.
Just going on what you were saying there about when people were saying about the Stoke's injury crisis, Boro fans on social medias are saying, replying with it was a photo of the injury list from both Stoke and Middlesbrough, and you look at the difference. Yeah, they've got some key players out.
I think all four of their strikers are out injured, and I think their goalkeeper was injured or something as well, or whatever. So their strike force all injured. Our defensive line, up until very recently, was makeshift and 90% all injured.
I don't think any of their strike forces you've just said are in the top 10 goal scorers in the Championship. So you're not exactly missing prolific goal scorers, are you?
I think Sorba Thomas is.
He played, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was he the one crying afterwards?
He's the one that was crying afterwards.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Cole, because I think it was in his post-match interview.
Oh, it's class.
He made a comment, and I'll paraphrase. Boro like to overplay.
Yeah.
Now, when you are employed as a professional footballer to play football, is there such a thing as overplaying, or is that more our tactics were way better than yours? They went a goal up and thought that'd probably win it early on in the game until the second half, and then we passed the ball around more.
We only had the ball for so long because we didn't get it off us.
Well, it's funny because when they say we overplay, we had nearly 200 more passes throughout the game. We had 496 passes to Stoke's 334. And it gets even better when we talk about Preston a little bit later on. But ultimately, we've gone away to Stoke, and I think Kim Hellberg mentioned it. He can now say he's done it on a cold, wet night in Stoke.
Well, he did say that he used to hear that phrase a lot as a kid.
And never understood what it meant.
Never understood what it meant until he's gone and done it himself.
And also, I know Paul mentioned last week, he said, Mark Robbins always does one. Well, he didn't this time, so let's forget about all that sort of stuff.
Gents, moving on. Quick mention to our sponsors, BT Promotions, massive supporters of what we do here at Boro Chat. Teesside travel coaches to most away games. Still got seats available on the coach to Sheffield United if anybody's looking for them. Drop a message on the Teesside Travel Facebook page and they'll get back to you with what they need to. Drive, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever it is, biggest driving school, whatever it is in the country. And
if
of
Adam
course,
was here, he could tell us.
If Adam was here, he could tell us, but he's been here today to set things up, but then he's had to disappear for kids football, of all things. And of course, the Eston and Normanby Social Club, as Mark likes to call it, the mecca of entertainment in and around the borough, have kindly given us for the last 2 seasons now, called the Broom Cupboard. And a couple of people have mentioned, turn the heater off, Paul Burke, at the start of the show. Just so you know, when we came in here earlier, it was like -16. We've got it up to about -9. That's why the heater was on, and you could probably hear it, but it is freezing. And if we don't have it on, all you'll see is white breath trails coming out of us over the course of the show, which nobody wants to see.
Not a vape inside.
Moving on then to the most recent games. 3 days after the Stoke win, we're at home for a 12:30 kickoff against Preston. 4-0. I mean, to go away to Stoke midweek, come away there with a 2-1 win, have probably the day off on the Thursday, back in training the Friday, travel to the Riverside on the Saturday for a 12:30 kickoff. Cole, is before we get into the football, is it not becoming a bit of a joke that teams are having to play within 3 days?
It is, but
with a much closer kick-off time.
It is, but in the Championship, I mean, the only thing that changes is the kick-off times. You know when the season starts what your games are and what the kick-offs are supposed to be, and then they might tinker around with them. But I think every club will be treated just about the same. It's not just us. I think Elberg said they're in at 3 o'clock in the morning or something on
Yeah,
Thursday or something like
8 hour
that.
round trip
So it's not
from
bad.
from Stoke on a coach.
And then
It's not the nicest place to go to midweek.
No, the place is okay. It's just
Yeah. Nothing against the
Let's
place, but to travel to Stoke on a Wednesday
On a wet,
night,
cold
on a
Wednesday.
cold, wet Wednesday night.
I've never been there when it's not been wet and cold.
Yeah, that's true. The couple of experiences I've been there, it's been shambolic. But the less said about that, the better. Very quickly, I'm going to go to the social media because there's loads of people watching. There's loads of comments coming in. Ian Hockney says, "Evening, lads." Paul references Stoke and says the first half against Stoke was the worst of all season.
Yep.
Ian Hockney's come back on. He says first half was shambolic. Is an understatement. I went back to the coach at half time, so he missed the comeback. He missed the comeback, did Ian Hockney?
Oh dear.
David Kay says we showed what happens when teams come to play against us, against Preston.
Yeah.
When teams dig in, like Stoke, it always looks lethargic. Paul Burke's been on, says Sol has nobody to challenge him. A new, younger backup keeper is required to push him on. Josh, in the green room before the show, you said something very similar. Ian Hockney's been back on. He says there's a good one up the road. Patterson at Sunderland.
He is currently going through the procedure of going to Millwall to link back up with Alex Neil, though.
There we go. That one's squashed straight away. Cheers, Josh. Alan Marty's been on, says good evening, lads. Up the mighty Boro. Paul's been on and says about Patterson, looks like he's off to Millwall on loan. Simon Danes says solid week, 6 points. Stoke was not pretty, but we got the job done, and results like that get you promoted over the season. Preston, we dominated all game. Brown was fantastic. I'd try and get him on a longer deal as his contract is up at the end of the season. Ian Hockney's come back on and says apparently miles away on valuation, whether that's with regards to Brown or Patterson. God knows. Paul Burke says, I'm watching Boro Chat for the sake of watching Boro Chat. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul. We really appreciate your support.
Great input.
Maria Fano's been on, says, evening, guys. Great win yet again. Adam Bragg says, up the Boro. Dylan Bell's watching, says, watching Boro Chat for the sake of watching Boro Chat. Any more? Dylan has just been on. He says, apparently Sarmiento deal is done. What do you boys think of that signing? We are going to come on to that a little bit later on in the show, Dylan, so make sure you stick around for that. So, gents, the game itself. What is there to talk about? Absolutely dominant display, tore them apart.
Yeah.
A lot of fans on social media saying it was the best performance all season.
The first 45, I thought we were terrific, and I've mentioned it before. I really want to see us put 2 45s in the same game. We're getting one that's brilliant or one that's rubbish in the second. I really think that there was an opportunity there to put a massive dent in the. I know 4's a lot of goals, but I think we went from, was it 10 behind it? Ipswich had 10 goals better, and now it's only 6. I think there was plenty of. I think he. The only criticism is I think he made way too many substitutions. I just think it threw it a little bit.
I sort of agree. I'd love to see us put a team to the sword over 2 halves. But we played West Brom on the Friday night. Then we played Stoke the Wednesday. Then we've played Preston the Saturday. Early kick-off as well. That, to go in at half-time 3-0 up, which I think it's fair to say no Boro fan expected that scoreline, because the reverse fixture earlier on in the season was a tight game.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Whittaker got a lot of stick that game, and a certain ex-manager that we won't speak about had a bit of a go at the fans for the reception he got being taken off. So I certainly expected it to be a much tighter game than what it was. I think they've lost 4 on the bounce when they came, or 3 on the bounce before they came to Boro. They've scored no goals.
Sky were like making it out as if it was 2 title contenders going against each
Yeah, Sky will do that because they hate the Boro, because we put decent banners up, which we'll talk about later on as well.
I thought they were poor.
Yeah.
You can only be, as I said,
Did
you
we
can only
look
be what's
so
in front of
good
you.
then
I thought
because
our
they were so poor?
You can only play what's in front
Yeah,
of you.
you've said that. Yeah.
And I thought some of our football in the first half was terrific. Absolutely, it was really nice to watch.
But was it terrific because they were so poor?
Well, they
Or
certainly.
was it genuinely... Because Boro fans see things through rose-tinted spectacles.
A
We've
lot
said
do,
it
yeah.
for years.
I try to be more realistic. I mean, Whittaker's goal, that's embarrassing,
Oh,
isn't it? I mean, he's took it well, but
London.
what is he thinking there? The keeper, for starters, he rolls it far
Rolls
out.
it
The
out,
guy
yeah.
else is thinking, hang on, what am I doing here?
Wasn't
And
he
then-
pretending his
I mean-
head, though? Wasn't
I
he
mean,
just
the-
stood there with it as his
Before
head?
we get on to the Whittaker goal,
Yeah.
because there was 2 goals before that, so save them thoughts for when we get onto it.
What
But
do I have to?
Brown scores first.
Yeah.
2 games, 2 goals.
That's
Tommy
a striker's
Conway,
finish.
yeah, 100%. Tommy Conway then scores a goal. Then he gets another goal later on in the game. He's now scored 3 goals in 2 games. Boro Leon, get your mop chopped. It's time. And then Whittaker scores that goal to score his 11th goal of the season. Top scorer at the club. The reverse fixture early on in the season. Boro fans had enough of Whittaker. He wasn't seemingly putting the effort in. What a turnaround of a
think it's fair
season
to
he's
say
had.
We were in that group, weren't we? You know,
yeah.
But I think it was justified at the time. But
I
you know,
won't
fair
shy
play.
away. At
I still
Preston,
think there's more work to be done with Whittaker. I think there's times
Yeah.
when you think, oh, back to it's almost Jekyll and Hyde with him sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I won't shy away from it. That Preston game, the reverse fixture earlier on in the season, I was one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of Boro fans cheering that he was being taken off because what I saw on the pitch that day was worth the applause. Not so much the telling off by the old manager, but it was certainly worth the applause to see him going off. I wasn't clapping that he was rubbish and it was the right, like he had to get off the pitch because he doesn't have a future at the club. I was more clapping the fact that the fans had seen for a long time in that game that he was ineffective. He wasn't doing what the fans thought he should have been doing. Mr. Roland Rat, had suddenly recognised that and decided to pull him off. So we were happy with the decision to take him off the pitch. To then get the telling off that we got, I think now, I mean, he doesn't have a leg to stand on because of what he did, but up yours, Mr. Edwards.
I think as
how's
well
it going
that
with Wolves?
with Conway, and I've been probably his biggest critic, certainly
Yeah,
in
Conway.
here. And I think
couple of
again
weeks.
justified. You know, I would like nothing more from him now to go on a run.
Yeah.
Because that could be crucial. If him and Whittaker are both putting away their chances, I think that because we've got some massive games coming up, massive games,
huge games.
season defining, I would even say. And so you want them all firing on all cylinders.
What are your guys' thoughts on his reaction though when he got took off Conway?
Well, let us get on to that.
Sorry.
Don't ask that question yet because there's a couple of other things. So, 67% possession against Preston, 16 shots, 8 on target, 542 passes to 264.
16 shots, 8 on target,
I know.
1 in 2.
Yeah.
When it's been 1 in 4, 5, so when not so long back. So
Yeah.
it just shows if you get them on
We've
target more often.
Won
they'll score
4
more.
on the bounce,
Yeah.
13 goals scored.
I think it's 12 goals scored, 3 goals conceded.
Well, look at 4 games ago before we went on this little second 4-winning streak
Yeah,
in
right.
Hellberg's 12 games in charge.
Well, a 3, a 2, and 2 4s.
Where are these goals coming from?
13 goals. Yeah.
What has Kim Hellberg done since coming in? Because we didn't play bad under the last manager. There was an expectation that we'd started so well as a Boro fan. We wanted to see the team push on. We struggled in a couple of games. Things seemed to dry up front. We could see that players weren't in positions that we as fans expected them to be in. What has Kim Hellberg done since coming in that has transformed this good but moderately mediocre attacking side into a team that can now beat Southampton 4-0, beat Preston 4-0, go a goal down against Stoke and come back, beat West Brom 3-2? What has he done? What's happened? What's changed?
a couple of things that I've spotted is that one in particular, I know when the guy you referred to earlier was, they looked a good unit, but I think they look unbelievably tight now at the minute. They're all, when Conway's finally got his goal, you could see that everybody, like they did with Whittaker. I think the whole team thing is, I still think there's probably a couple that, I said Silvera hinted at it, so I think last week, I don't know if you see it, John, when Silvera was interviewed and he said, I've just got my head down, got on with it, and I haven't whinged. And I said at the time, I wonder if he's heard a couple of people that have been whinging.
Yeah,
because it happens.
That's a slide dig at one or two other players.
But yeah, and I think I don't think they're as restricted as well. I think Hellberg actively. I mean, I don't know. I think actively encourages them to go and do the thing, go and show themselves.
I think it's just. I think he's come in and he's just filled them with confidence. Praised them in all of the areas that needed praise, but also tweaked the areas that they needed to improve on. I mean, as you're saying there, like they look tight, they look like a good unit, and as you're saying that at the start of the season, we also look the same. But I mean, for me, it does look like they've played together for 6, 7, 8 years. When in fact some of them have only just come in this season.
There's a togetherness in the team now. Luke Ayling in particular. We know he's had a strong season this season compared to last, but I do feel under the previous manager, Ayling wasn't as committed on the pitch. Like there's something that we see in Luke Ayling now. He wants to win every ball. He wants to get crosses in. He wants to get forward as much as he can. He wants to support the players around him, where perhaps we didn't see a lot or as much of that, rather, under the previous manager.
I think the difference is where he's playing.
In the position that he should be in.
I think at right back, he doesn't have anywhere near the season he's had.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that. And I've said it, I don't think we can ever play Ayling at right back again. I just think it's a wrong position for him. And if he does, I might end up calling him Luke Failing again. So
no,
we don't want that.
Do you know I've got you in my phone on WhatsApp in our WhatsApp group chat as Ayling's #1 fan. And I see you come up and I'm like, who the hell is this? It's Cole.
He's been terrific last night. I can't fault him.
In individual players, I think Hackney looked. There was a point under the old manager where Hackney coasted through games. Now he wants to be involved in everything. He's running through on goal. Yeah. He's trying to have shots. He's taking that perfect Courtney. He's taking control of games, midfield and games that perhaps we thought he should have done in previous games, but hadn't for whatever reason.
Yeah. Somebody in our little corner asked the question, and I thought, I can't believe you're asking. But he said, "Oh, do you think he's playing for a move away?" Absolutely not.
No.
Nah. Absolutely.
He's playing to get in the Premier League. That's what
he wants to get his hometown club in the Premier League and skip them. And I've said it. I wouldn't be surprised if we go in the Premier League that he stays and has a season with us and then do whatever.
Just a couple of comments coming in there that I'll quickly go through. There is one that Paul's mentioned that we are going to talk about in a little while, Cole. Thoughts on the story sending off and the challenge on Malander. We will talk about that shortly. Dylan's been back on. He says the drama of West Brom, then coming from behind at Stoke, 2 away days to then win 4-0 against Preston was amazing. You cannot blame the players for taking it easy once it was 4-0 and a man down.
Oh, absolutely agree. It's totally just me being greedy.
Corey Parker's been on. He says we were different class against Preston. He's been back on and says Josh knows I've always rated Whittaker.
That's really? that is very, very debatable.
Really? Ian Hockney's been on. He says I didn't think Whittaker had a good first half. He took his goal well. He was actually closing down and tackling. Confidence is an amazing thing. Dylan's been back on and says, and this is in regards to the last manager. I don't want to say his name.
No, we don't, otherwise you put a pound in the coffin.
Roland Rat unified us, got us focused on playing together for the club and the fans, and all of that Roland Rat word that rhymes with it. Hellberg has taken over with a better tactical understanding, and that's a comment that I want to make actually, because When Roland Rat came in, he sold us a dream that turned out to be a lie.
Yeah.
A horrendous lie that will never be forgotten by Boro fans.
Mate, it's not the first time he's done it though, is it?
No, but he did in a way unify us, the way he spoke to us, the way he said we're all in it together. That really turned a corner for a lot of Boro fans who were dubious about his appointment in the first place. A lot of fans thought he was going to use us as a stepping stone. Those fans were absolutely right. He took us on while he waited for what he thought was going to be the next best job. And Wolves came along. How are you doing? Hellberg comes in. I think in the first couple of media appearances, he talked a lot about tactics and that he loves tactics. And I found really humbling on his behalf, in his most recent, he talked about wanting to be transparent with the fans. He talked about he wants to tell the fans how he wants us or how he wants to see us play, and thinks that the fans should be really involved in that. And it was a breath of fresh air to hear.
It's unheard
I
of.
took it with a pinch of salt because other managers have alluded to that in the past, that it's not happened. Michael Carrick was very stoic in what he allowed the public to know, and what he kept his cards very close to his chest. Kim Hellberg seems the type of guy that when he knows something, he wants the fans to know. Because I truly believe, and it's probably more fool me, that with Hellberg, we are genuinely all in this together.
No.
I would love to see him be invited down to the Longlands to Red Faction, and I'd love to see him at the mecca of North East entertainment. I would love to see him work a little bit on his fist pumps.
It's better.
Rather than just arm waves when he's digging. That does require a little bit of improvement. But it is really nice, Josh, that he wants to include the fans in a lot of his thought process, and he's open to talking about us. How do you feel about him talking about that when other teams are probably watching, maybe with the drones if you're Derby County or whatever? But how do you feel about him wanting to be open with the fans and tell us what's happening? And as a fan, how do you take it?
I've always said since we appointed him, I was like, he seems like the type of guy that wants to be one of us. And as you can see after the games as well, he joins in with a chant. You know, he stands there and he continues and goes on. You're going on about his fist pumps. First couple of times a bit, now loves it.
Yeah, he does. He's well
Loves
into it now.
But one thing that I'll add on what you were saying there, the way that in a recent interview, I think it was the one before the Preston game, he came out and he included the journalists and stuff that were there as well. And he was like, "Give me a player's name, and I'll tell you if they're back. I'll tell you if they're going to be in the squad."
Oh yeah.
And a journalist goes, Riley McGreen, he goes, "He's back," and you could see there that it's like
he was buzzing to
it's
tell
like
us.
he's one of us.
Yeah.
It's although he's our head coach, you look at it and you go, he's just another fan. He is one of us.
What I get from him is, and I feel daft thinking the same thing about the last manager, but I think there is a genuine appreciation for the position that he's in at our club. I think he genuinely appreciates that this is a huge job, and I have no doubts that this is a stepping stone for him because he's a young manager and he wants to go on and prove he can be one of the best. Otherwise, there's no point in being in management. I just feel like right now he accepts that, he appreciates rather that this is a huge job, and he appreciates the job he's been given. There's a genuine connection there. The fans have appreciated what he's done so far. He's appreciating what the fans have done for him and the way that we've accepted him. You know, we've got a graphic that we can put up on screen that I've just. There's other things out there as well, but we thought that was brilliant. But to see him talk to the press like you've said, ask me a question and I'll tell you the answer, I'll be honest. How many times in the past have we wanted honesty? Not just from the manager, but from the club.
Under the old manager, we had injuries going as long as our arms, and he wouldn't say whether it was a toe injury, whether it was a back injury, how long they're out for.
One thing I will say, and I've been wanting to mention it since you said it, when you referred to Carrick, he was very cards close to his chest. The Ben Doak incident. Now, we all thought, he's going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks. You know, he's just pulled a little muscle in training, which then led to us all finding out. You know, he's actually returned to Liverpool to undergo surgery. Mm-hmm. Now, we were all under the impression, you know, he's just tweaked a little muscle in training. Yeah. Because that's what we were made to believe from Carrick. Whereas I don't think we'll actually receive anything like that from Hellberg.
Well, wasn't it a similar situation with regards to not Cameron Archer, who was on loan, the other lad,
Jacob Ramsey,
Aaron Ramsey. He came to us, and I think towards the end of the season he got injured, and then that was it. And then we found out that he'd gone back to his parent club without.
Well, it's like that goalkeeper that we don't talk about because no one knows what's going on.
Yeah, fans just want honesty, and I think if you have somebody at the club who's prepared to be honest with the fans. We've been through the Middlesbrough fans over the last couple of years with the manager appointments that we've had, the silence from the club that every fan channel has complained about. I think it's fair to say that over the last 2 years, 3 years, the club, given the due, have worked so hard in being more forthcoming with the fans and engaging with the fans. You know, they've done I don't even know what it's called, but they were basically the manager and a couple of players were going to like a couple of social clubs for invite-only events to have a chat with the fans, and that is amazing. That's what fans want. There's a load more now going out on social media, whether it's at Rockcliffe, whether it's an inside match day, whether it's one of the players that's been given a phone to go and film some daft stuff, asking questions, what's something you're going to say to the next person, or ask the next person. It's brilliant. The fans lap it up. They feel like they're involved, even though you're keeping them at arm's length with the camera, and it's all edited in such a way that it doesn't give too much away. But when you see photos on the Gazette Live website, for example, somebody's back from training and you think, well, somebody else was out. You're always looking past the player that you've taken the photo of, trying to see if you can spot anybody else in the background that the club might not have announced yet or have announced his back. It's fantastic, and the club have worked really hard the last couple of years to do that, and I think Hellberg, in the position he's in now, wanting to engage with the fans, can only be a positive thing, provided that other teams don't start watching this stuff and get all the tactics from that, which I don't think he's daft enough to. He'll give us enough.
I think he's very astute, and the thing that's impressed me with him is that the other fella wanted to be everybody's mate straight away. This guy's doing it his way. He's an excellent talker.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's so.
And I think he'll tell you. I think he'll tell you what he wants to tell you. And not what he thinks you want to know. I said I'll give him 10 games, but after 3 or 4 games, I already saw it. I'm thinking, this guy knows the business, and considering where he was as well, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
You know, to come in. This is not an easy job, and it is whether they like it up the road or not. Middlesbrough are a big club in a little town, but a big club, and I think he's done terrific. I do honestly, and long may it continue.
Going back then to a couple of comments on social media. Tony Archer says, I was gutted for Conway when he was subbed. A hat-trick would have done him the world of good.
Absolutely.
Now, this is what Courtney was alluding to earlier on with his reaction to being subbed. He wasn't happy. You wouldn't be happy if you've been on such a long goal drought and you have the chance to score a third.
If he'd have come off, having scored 2 and on a hat-trick and smiling, you'd think, what's the matter with him? Doesn't he want the hat-trick? So that can't win. And like you said, me personally, I mean, I know I'd be miffed. Bernie Slater said, if you got 2, you want 3. Yeah, absolutely.
Any player that suddenly finds
I don't have a problem with that. That's passion. That tells you what he thinks.
Yeah,
we know what he thinks.
Whether it was Latty Lath a couple of seasons ago, whether it was Chuba Akpom a couple of years ago now, once you find that form, you want to keep scoring.
Who was it used to do it? McLaren used to do it all the time when someone had got 2. Get him off.
Take them off and rest them.
Unless it was a big bonus on it to score 3. I don't know about that.
Ian Simpson's been on. He says all the players. This is a good point. This actually, all of the players seem a lot fitter, and we are keeping up the pressing, and it paid off on Saturday. That is a fantastic point. That because we have been outplaying teams. The stats prove it that the amount of passes, 542 passes against a very poor Preston to 264. We're playing with such a tempo and speed to our game. We're forcing the opposition, because we're keeping the ball, we're forcing them to expend a lot of energy early on in the game, which we then somehow manage to find ourselves towards the back end of the game, and we're able to go and score late winners. That is a great point. We do seem a lot fitter. Players coming back from injury are back a lot longer before they seem to be injured again. It's just nice that a couple of seasons ago the club had changed the turf at the training ground, and there was a lot of injuries. I think there was sand involved or something like that. There was a lot of injuries early on, and couldn't seem to catch a break.
I'm trying to think if we've actually had one this season, off field.
No, I don't.
I don't recall.
Other than the long-term injuries, I mean,
yeah.
Bangura.
Yeah.
Is he out again injured?
McGree's come back.
McGree's back. But McGree's back because there's a couple of internationals coming up, I think. So.
And he doesn't. Well, yeah. Let's say that's okay. Let's see what Elberg does when he comes back from Australia with jet lag.
Tony Dixon's been on. He says, "Evening, gentlemen. Good evening." Luke Bowie's been on. Says hi. Courtney's waving. Jimmy Lees has been on. Phil, hope you're well, mate. Absolutely cracking. Luke's been back on. He says, "Where is Yaff the madman?" If you weren't watching the start of the show, mate, it's not my fault.
He's playing bingo.
He's on curry.
He's downstairs in a really important meeting, probably drinking. He was that drunk on Saturday. He rang me earlier and said he doesn't think he's able to do the show tonight, so I'd have to step in. Adam Lowe's been on. Says Hackney to West Ham, done by the weekend. In your dreams.
What?
There is absolutely no way Hackney leaves the Borough in second. 3 points off top.
Just want to say,
go on.
A Leeds fan watching a Borough stream. Thank you very much.
That's all we need to hear. Leeds fan watching a Borough stream. Crack on. Simon Daines has been on. He says the players look like they would run through a brick wall for the manager. He's a tactical genius.
Not just
it's
the
what
manager,
we would just.
I think they'd run through for each other. It seems now.
Yeah, there is such a togetherness in the club, and this is what we've just been saying there about. Ayling looks a much better player now than they did, and he looked decent a couple of months ago. But everything just seems to be clicking right now. It's weird being a Borough fan on a podcast this positive because this never happens.
Especially just after
Mark's
Christmas.
not coming back next week.
Especially just after Christmas.
Yeah.
On the management team, I don't know if you remember, Phil, a few weeks ago, somebody was saying that Vivash was in Hellberg's ear and he was walking away and he wasn't listening to him.
That was Mark.
I've seen completely the opposite recently.
Wasn't that Mark against
Derby? As soon as
Derby?
the game finishes, they're both
New
there.
Year's Day.
Yeah.
Mark mentioned that in the group chat against Derby. He said that he'd seen on the cameras Hellberg being spoken to by Vivash and walked away. He wasn't being listened to.
But unless you've heard what
contrary to what we've seen on the pitch.
Oh, unbelievable.
And I have no doubt that the AD Vivash
as soon as the game's finished,
is
the
massive.
yeah.
And let's not forget as well, Hellberg's brought in a couple of his own staff. They haven't really stepped a foot wrong. And it's
David Slimmy.
It's not easy.
Slimini or something.
Yeah.
Salami.
Yeah, something like that.
But these are coaches that are probably unheard of in the English game that have come into the English game
but so
and
Hellberg.
seem to be tearing it
Wasn't
up.
one of them like a police detective or something, and then he went.
No, that's Bergerac.
I don't understand that.
Don't worry.
It's
don't
an age
worry.
thing.
Corey Parker says, I don't think West Ham can even turn Hackney's head. Ian Simpson says, are we all Norwich fans tonight? Obviously, Norwich are playing Coventry tonight.
No, I'm not a Norwich fan. I'm a Borough fan. I could never be another fan.
Obviously, our next game is against Norwich. So it's tough run for Norwich, couple of games. Hopefully,
5-0.
I think so.
Yeah,
Luke Bowie said that I am doing a brilliant job tonight as a
He's
stand-in for
obviously
Mark.
down there with Mark.
You've missed that. Luke Bowie said I am doing a brilliant job tonight standing in for Mark. At least that's what I think he said, because he just said you're doing a brilliant job.
Certainly
That could be me
fills
doing this, or it could
Certainly
be
fills the
Courtney
settee.
tinkling the ivories backstage. Huh?
Certainly fills the settee.
Well, somebody has to. Luke's been back on. He says it's not just the manager, it's the staff around him and Steve Gibson. It's
We've just
everyone.
said that,
There was a
yeah.
genuinely good,
Yeah.
like, feel-good factor around the club. And like I said earlier, the club have done a lot in recent seasons to try and improve the relationship with fans. And I think that's fair to.
I still
leave
think
that
there's an
there.
awful lot more that they can do.
Yeah, but
So
fans
that-
will
yeah.
always say,
Yeah.
what more would you want, Col?
Oh, cheesy chips for £1.
Hot burgers.
Yeah.
I had a rant
Hot
about that a
burger,
couple
yeah.
of years ago. I got a burger at half time and it was stone cold. And
Program's
Jamie
been
Dalgano, 12th man, ripped me like hell for months afterwards.
Program's back to being £2.
Yeah, programmes being back to a couple
I
of
was,
quid
I was
would be
actually quite
nice.
shocked. First time in a long time I ever picked up a programme on Saturday, and I was like, £4.
I
Yeah.
picked one up in the director's thing the other week, but
Mr. Fancy over
Prawn
here got a
sandwich
whoop us.
upgrade.
certainly didn't pay £4.
Well. Right, other news, gents. Because it's nearly 10 to 8 and there's still quite a lot to talk about here. McGree is back. Kim Elberg said himself in the interview,
Yeah.
give us a name, and somebody said Riley McGree. He's back. Did he come on against Preston?
Yeah.
Did he come? I'd seen some. I didn't watch the Preston game.
I actually spoke to him.
I was ill.
I
I was
spoke to
in, I was
Riley
in
on
bed.
Saturday while he was warming up. I shouted at him and I said, "Are you fit?" Yeah.
Yeah,
What
Col,
you doing?
yeah.
What are you doing there then? Get on.
The flight's next week, mate.
2 minutes. 2 minutes later, there he goes.
It is good to see him back. I just hope
You're
that
just
this
saying
can
that
be.
'cause you've copied his hairstyle.
I do have his hairstyle, yeah. Not the best now, like, but this morning when I did it at 4 o'clock, it was great. It is nice to see him back. I'm so desperate to see a consistent run in the team because we know
Absolutely.
he's got the quality, we know he's got the ability. He has been dogged with injuries, and it's not all his fault.
It's a long flight from Australia.
It is a long flight, and jet lag is a horrible thing if you've ever experienced it. I got it once going over to Redcar on the 66. But him, Morris, Hackney, Castledine, you know, we have a number of young players that we're just desperate to see how they're going to work on the
I thought
pitch. And
Castledine did okay. But me and Yap were talking
there's a bit of
there's a lot more to come. There's gotta be.
trepidation there.
Yeah.
Cole.
He didn't take anybody on at all.
Did he have to?
Well, that's what I want to say. I was in.
Yeah, but
Good
I
free
get
kick. Good
it.
free kick.
yeah, I get it. And the follow up with Conway
yeah,
for the
yeah,
goal.
it was-
At some point, they will unleash Castledine, and
Good.
we will see what we've got, what we've bought, and I can't wait for that because this running into May is turning out to be like some running. I can't even summarise
Yeah,
it.
it's-
Like, I'm genuinely excited every Saturday. I'm like, who are we playing today? I don't fear anybody at the minute, and that goes back to a couple of years ago with Tubrak Pom and Cameron Archer, and we have no reason to fear any team. Whether we've got Coventry in a couple of weeks' time, whether we've got Norwich, you know, we should not fear any team with the way that we are playing now.
Yeah, I think you're right to say not fear, but I'll tell you, I think they're going to be coming right into them at Sheffield United.
Yeah, it seems like they've found
They're
themselves
hitting,
again.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Are they though?
But then the
Because
big
they
daft,
did this a couple of months ago,
the
and
big,
then
the
lost
big daft
4 or
one's
5
just
on the
got
bounce.
sent off, hasn't he?
Yeah, Bamford.
Tom Daly.
Yeah, first red card of his career. That.
I mean,
Couldn't have happened to a nicer
He
boy.
was captain, by the way. He wasn't even playing.
It's funny
in
because-
like
'cause-
6 months ago, 6 weeks.
Obviously,
ago,
he
yeah.
made that chant up with the fans
About
about
Wilder, yeah.
Wilder, and then Wilder signs him, and now he's the club captain. All of a sudden, unbelievable
I mean,
what football
why-
does.
You as a referee, you'll probably agree with me, but why on earth is he making that dive already on a yellow?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not convinced he did dive.
Oh, absolutely.
When you see the replay,
I've seen it a couple of times.
Oh,
I don't think
horrendous.
he falls to the
Anyhow,
ground,
never mind
but he
Bamford.
certainly doesn't appeal for anything. He doesn't stand up to the referee and.
What about Andy Madley? Never mind Bamford.
Right, Strelic was at the game
Yeah.
on Saturday. He was unfortunately just an observer. There's been a lot of rumours going on around him. Nothing concrete from the club with regards to an injury or anything else. But it is gutting that we've spent a lot of money on him and he seems to not be getting his game time. If there is a genuine injury, fair enough. But I would love, in the way that we're playing now, that guy will thrive in the right system. And Hellberg is the man to make sure that system he needs to play is played.
I think we discussed it
Love
last week. The murmurings are that it's a family thing. It's
and it's difficult for any player.
Absolutely.
Any player or manager if you're Rob Edwards. Red Faction banner.
Euros a pound.
I'll put £2 in there because I'll say it again. Red Faction banner.
Which one?
There was a couple. The only one I saw, I'll be honest, the only one I saw was the Sky one about kick-off times. Fans should be consulted. Red Faction have become synonymous across the Championship this season with their blunt, to the point banners towards the footballing authorities that can only be applauded. The other banner, Josh, you mentioned earlier on was...
Get well soon, Kieran.
Get well soon, Kieran. We, with no concrete, the club have announced that he's undergone emergency surgery or something.
They didn't say when.
But he had, and for a man that when he first came to the club, fans were questioning what he was actually doing because we'd not brought anybody in of significant importance. We felt he has over the last couple of seasons brought in some quality players. So whatever it is, we're not going to speculate or anything, but whatever it is, Kieran Scott, we hope you're on the mend and we hope you get well soon and you're back at the club before the end of January to get some of these deals across the line because boy do we need some players in.
We need to let some players out, never mind.
Another one quickly, Chris Rea sadly passed away around Christmas time. The club have announced that Steel River is going to be used before every home game to try and build fans up in the hopes that fans adopt it, and I think it's a wonderful touch for a marvellous local man.
Absolutely.
And Josh, you've heard it a couple of times.
No.
Like it?
Love it.
Cole, you've been at the games. You'd like it? Is it a song we can get behind and sing?
It's not my favourite Chris Rea song, but
but we can't have Driving Home for Christmas on in the middle of May, can we?
Why not? Artificial snow, get that in as well. Why not? No,
we've just got the flamethrower things in. Let's get artificial snow pumped in.
Steel River, it's appropriate. It fits the bill. But I mean,
it's the perfect song.
Absolutely
for the team, and it's brilliant. Sonny Finch scored on his debut for Spennymoor. Fair play to him. A young lad that will go on and get the experience and the game time he needs and the goals that he wants to score. Hopefully with a view to come back at some point. And, I don't know, it's just what Mark's put Spennymoor. Could be South Shields. Transfers. There must be players coming in and going out. Mark's left me a note here. Dieng, Edmondson, Hansen, Gilbert, Silvera, Senny. Any of them look likely to leave the club?
Silvera, not a chance.
Silvera, not a chance.
I
don't think Gilbert's going to go.
I would be very surprised if either the ones you just mentioned, Silvera and Gilbert, I'd be very surprised. But I don't know. We don't.
Hansen,
that's the one thing we don't know about
Hansen,
him because he's not been here.
They just need more time. Again, they've come.
I'm not convinced with Senny. I think he's had time. He's had the one Hansen, I think. And what's happened to Candy? Where's he gone?
He was injured. He had a hernia surgery.
He has been on the bench the last couple of games.
Can we quickly at some point before we go the referee? Got to mention.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm coming on to now. So, Cole, the referee on Saturday. I think before the game, you weren't overly positive about his appointment, if I remember rightly.
No.
Or was that the Stoke game?
That was a Stoke game.
So
and proven.
I'm just so you find out who the match because what Cole likes to do when the referee appointments are confirmed a couple of days before the game, Cole puts it in our group chat. He tells us who the referee is, who the assistant referees are, and what that particular referee's current form is, how many yellow cards he's dished out in his last couple of games, red cards, which is a great insight because you don't get that anywhere else unless you're Cole Ward. So. Cole, what was your opinion on him being appointed to the game first before his performance?
Well, I don't have a problem with the appointment, but it was Boro v Preston. It wasn't
Premier
Boro
League
v
referee
Coventry.
being stepped
it
down.
wasn't Boro v
Ipswich.
Ipswich. I thought, well, okay. I thought, well, I don't think there's been any controversy for it to be dropped down a division. So
could it not be though that there is a lot of mumblings with regards to certain player at Preston, which we know was banned anyway. But you know, the controversy that individual player has caused over the course of this season is ridiculous. And I know there are calls on social media for the FA to step in.
No issue with such.
I
mean, I thought he was terrific.
The first time I've heard you say that about a referee this season, you said terrific.
Well, because a lot I've seen have been at best average.
The quality of refereeing in the Championship is absolutely appalling.
I thought he tried to play advantage when he didn't. He came back, and we've seen other refs that try to play an advantage, and it doesn't happen. They don't come back, and you think, well, why haven't you come back for that? I think his cautions were right, and the sending off 100%. The only thing
was it a straight red for that? Or was it a second yellow?
No, straight red.
Straight red, yeah. It's
I've not seen the replay.
It's the dog's little thing. I think, to be fair as well, he tried to wait because someone was alongside Conway. I can't remember who it was.
Hackney was just over.
And I was thinking he was waiting, but once that tells you. There seems to be a little bit of difference of opinion on the Melander and that incident.
Yeah,
I've looked at it 2 or 3 times, and I still think I think he's called.
I thought that was more of a red than the red card that was given.
Yeah.
No, just my opinion. Yeah. I don't know if there's.
But to be fair to him, our concern, Cole, before the game was that Premier League referees that drop down seem to forget that they don't have VAR to fall back on and don't make decisions when they should because they think they're going to be called back to make that decision.
Yeah.
But actually, every decision that we needed him to make, whether you're a Boro fan or a Preston fan, he made and he was committed to making those decisions. Mm-hmm. And it was nice that we had a referee that tried to allow the game to flow, only brought it back when he needed to, stepped in when he certainly needed to. It was a breath of fresh air, actually, to have a referee that seemed to know what they were doing, rather than a referee that we get every other week.
He's a good Premier League ref as well, I think.
Not what he said in the group chat.
I think we have to be careful with these.
No, we don't. The FA can't fine us. We can say what we want.
With the Premier League referees, I said it earlier, and I know we're not there yet, but I find that the guys in the VAR studio want to referee the game from the VAR studio, but when they're on the pitch in the middle, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Too much involvement.
And you think
far too much.
Let them get on with it.
Yeah, totally agree. Gents, very close to the end. Next game, Boro v Norwich. Obviously, they're playing Coventry tonight. Is it a must-win call to keep this run going, to keep this momentum that we've got built going?
We said last week, win your home games. That's it, man. Make it a fortress. The teams don't want to come here. They're going to get turned over and get battered.
I think have we only lost 2 games at home all season?
Recently.
Is it 3? Have we lost 3 games at home all season?
Blackburn? I can't remember. Was that a draw?
Was that 0-0?
That was.
Somebody tell us. Paul Burke will be on somewhere. You'll still be watching.
Boxing Day.
Get on that there Tinternet. He'll find it.
Yeah. Do that and tell us how many home games have Boro lost this season as quick as you possibly can. Do we see changes to the starting lineup, Josh?
I'd say just because of the running that we have got over the next couple of weeks.
So change your winning team is what you're saying?
I'd say rest. I'd say rest certain players are the winning team.
Who do you rest?
Well, I'd definitely try and rest Whittaker, Conway, maybe Hackney.
You'd rest Conway, who's scored 3 goals in 2 games.
I think you've got to keep Conway.
I think he's in a purple patch. I think he's undroppable.
But he's been undroppable all season, according to the managers that we've had in.
But what you've got to understand is Conway is being asked to play in a particular way. And yes, he hasn't scored goals, but he has made a nuisance of himself. He's made a nuisance of defence. Yeah. And a lot of fans are going to jump on and say, he's not paid to be a nuisance, he's paid to score goals. But if his manager is telling him, this is how I want you to play, that's how he's going to play. And if he's going to pull defence apart by running around like a headless chicken and allow us, don't forget the times where he has pulled defence apart, other players haven't been in positions that they perhaps should have been in to cause an issue. But he's certainly done his job and he chases the keeper down, he chases defenders down when it's a lost cause.
Yeah, I think
he struggles, he's tenacious in his attempts to keep the ball in play when he wants to.
I think we've made the thing with Hellberg there, and I think he's probably sensed, I think his timing was immaculate, that Conway is getting a bit of flack and a bit of grief and oohs and ahs when he's not putting them away, and you think, right, okay, I'm going to tell him why, and this is why I play him, and this is why, and can't fault him. It's a reasoned argument, isn't it? But as a fan, you want your number 9 to score. That's
yeah.
But if you're getting all of it that way, I mean, the kid will be knackered by the end of the season, like won't he?
That's what I'm saying. I'd much rather have him 100% fully match fit ready for Sheffield United that we've got after Norwich, and then Coventry back to back Monday night games, late night kickoffs.
Looking forward to them, aren't
you?
Yeah. Just a couple more comments before we finish, guys. Luke Bowie says Silvera won't go. He's in agreement with us.
Yeah.
He cannot go. He's hit a bit of a patch. He scored some great goal recently. Bergzog to Bristol back on. So Bergzog could be leaving to go to Bristol, says Simon Daines. Luke Bowie said Senny is injured. He comes back on and says Kante was in the under-21s recently, so he must be finding his fitness and coming back. Mark Ufano's been on and says there's some eye candy in here tonight, like gents.
Is he on about where he is?
Don't know who he's talking about, if it's us or if it's them downstairs in the room that he's in. Ian Hockney's come on with a prediction for 3-1 Boro against Norwich. Simon Daines says we've lost to Coventry and Hull at home this season. Michelle Besford's just been on. I'm not going to do evening, Michelle.
You don't have any glasses?
Don't need glasses for that.
Yeah.
Evening all. No. Evening all. Just caught you near the end of the show. Unreal results for us, and Ipswich losing, which I wasn't expecting either. Dylan's been on and says 2 in the league, 1 in the cup at home. We've lost, so 2 league games, 1 cup game. Mark's been on and says Boro 4, Norwich 0, Dale Fry back post. See ya. Ian Simpson said play the best 11, and then when comfortable, start making changes. Gents, predictions. Col, I'll go with you first. Boro Norwich next game. What are you expecting?
Another home win. 2-1. 2-1 Boro.
2-1 Boro. So Bryn's going to concede again. The glasses have come off now. Come on.
No, I'm going 2-1.
2-1. Josh?
I'm going to say 3-0.
3-0. Courtney?
2-0.
Over to you, Yaff.
Yeah, but Yaff said 4-0. You've said 3-0. You've said 2-0. You've said 2-1.
I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned he said 4-0 for the last one.
Yeah, don't play into his hands because he'll be up here screaming through the door in a minute.
Have you read the last comment?
Let's hear it for Phil's mullet. Yes. It's my Riley McGree mullet. Prediction. 3-1 Boro.
So you think Bryn's going to concede?
Yeah, certainly do. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Mark will be back next week because I hate doing this. Please remember, like, share the stream. If you've missed it tonight, we will be uploading it to YouTube as well. Special thanks again to the Eston and Army Social Club for letting us use this room. Drive, Teesside Travel, BT Promotions, our sponsors that give us the funds and able to do all of this so that we can entertain you and entertain ourselves, because we all really lead really sad lives.
Absolutely.
But that's it from us.
I'm off to watch.
Enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch you next week.